Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast, and today's gonna be my episode 51 Raw recap for 8/25. There was another 3 p.m. start time. We haven't had one of these in a few months, but they were overseas, so they had a 3 p.m. start time. This show actually started off with OTC, Roman Reigns there, Tribal Chief. He came out. The crowd was definitely feeling him. The crowd was definitely behind Roman. The crowd was definitely like pretty much saying OTC, Tribal Chief. They were just showing Roman a lot of love. And during that segment, he goes, "Man, this feels familiar, but I'm not the same guy." And he brought up how CM Punk took everything, how Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and them took his bloodline, how he's not the same guy anymore. And he kind of like looks to the side of him, and there's no one there standing beside him. And there was a funny part of it during that promo. He brought up Cody Rhodes and the fans booed Cody. And he was like, "Well, that's not what I expected." And then he brought up Seth and he was like, "See, I understand why y'all don't like Seth, but I'm not sure why y'all don't like Cody, but we'll leave it at that." And they were just chanting his name, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, that little chant that they do. So he was definitely, feeling himself out there. I think it took like 10 minutes of just OTC and Roman Reigns and Tribal Chief chants before he even spoke a word. Um, but you did have Paul Heyman kind of like interrupt him. And then he goes into saying that he interrupts him being disrespectful, but he still loves him and he still wants him to be his tribal chief. So that shit didn't make any sense to me personally. Um, it was just odd. Like, how can you tell someone you love them but you also want to disrespect them? It is what it is. And then you had a little bit of, Bronson Reed and Roman going at it back and forth on each other. And Bronson Reed with his Shula Fala, you know, pretty funny, pretty accurate name, honestly. They're calling him, he has a shirt now instead of, Tribal Chief says Tribal Thief. So he's kind of working that gimmick there. But he goes into telling Roman like your tattoos are paid for, my tattoos I've earned. I'm the type of guy that your dad and uncles told you. I'm the type of Samoan your dad and uncle told you to stay away. And Roman's like, "What the fuck? This guy's Samoan? Do you understand what that means? You belong to me. You answer to me. Now, if you come back here with my shoes and give them back," he goes, "and get away from them," he goes, "I'll forgive you." And they just start going at each other. And then he pretty much says no for the most part, like, "I ain't gonna do shit." And then Roman's like, "Well, if you ain't gonna do nothing, then I'll come do it." And he chases him down. They kind of meet in the aisleway there and just start going at each other. Um, but you did have, I think like 5 to 10 security guards trying to separate the two of them. So that was actually pretty funny. Um, but it is what it is. Nothing crazy from there. But you did have, Roman going in, and then they announced it that them two are gonna fight at Clash of Paris. So kind of happy, honestly. That's gonna give Bronson Reed some work with Roman, show him that he is one of some of the next people up after these guys are retired. So it makes a lot of sense why Roman's gonna wrestle Bronson Reed in Clash of Paris. So you did have a bunch of segments. Honestly, you had a bunch of out of nowhere matches too. So if I missed something, it is what it is. I honestly feel like a lot of these matches were just like thrown together last minute. Like you had Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough. Okay, decent match, but what's the reasoning behind this? Like, I thought maybe LWO wasn't with him, so it's either they couldn't make the trip or they just weren't there that night. So that was just a random match. Dragon Lee and JD, decent match, like I mentioned. You did have before the match, not Ron, Dom was talking to Grande Americano or Kaiser in a mask, and you see what's his name? Finn is like, "What the fuck?" And same thing with JD, like, "What the hell you doing, bro? Like, you supposed to be with us." And the last couple of weeks, Don's been doing that, trying to like almost like recruit somebody else. He tried to do it with Penta before, even though it seems like they're trials and tribulations with each other kind of stopped. Now it seems like it's starting back up again. But you did again, JD and them. Um, you did have what's it called? Dom get into it, of course. Finn actually got in and then got ejected. So Finn was gone, like I think mid match or maybe even when the match first started. Then you had Dom came out, try to help, and then out of nowhere, AJ Styles comes out and kind of chases Dom out. Again, interference from the Judgment Day. I feel like a lot of the matches on Raw lately, because I don't watch SmackDown, um, Raw lately have been a lot of fucking run-ins. Like I actually spoke to someone on TikTok just today, and we were saying that shit back and forth. Like, yo, I feel like the same writer's doing all the stories. They're all finishing similar. There's a bunch of run-ins. People are getting pulled out from underneath the ring. It's almost like the same story or the same ending for everybody that's there. Like, give us something different. Like, let somebody have a clean finish. Okay, disqualification, fine. All right, interruption. Okay, but everything has to be an interruption. Like, come on, guys. It's getting pretty old. But you did have a backstage segment with LA Knight being interviewed, and he's pretty much saying like, I'm over it with CM Punk. I don't care what he's trying to do, but I'm over it. I'm gonna get to Clash in Paris by myself, with or without his help. Which it's I see what he's saying. He don't trust Punk. A lot of guys don't trust Punk, so that makes sense. Um, Another random match. Yeah, it was a continuation of the week before, but Kofi versus Xavier Woods. I'm sorry, it was Penta versus Xavier Woods because what happened with Penta and Xavier the week before. So it's Penta versus Kofi. Xavier was at the end on the side, and you also had Waller on the side. Only difference is last week Penta won, this week Penta lost because of the help of Grayson Waller. Now I did say Grayson Waller was going to be part of that group somehow, some way, and he kind of found himself. Then they're calling him Big G or some shit. I don't really know. But Grayson Waller helped them win that. I personally thought that with Penta, as much as they pushed him ahead of time to go after the IC title, it kind of fizzled out. Like he's not doing shit. How do you have him the first couple weeks going for a title? You have him lose like a month back to back almost, and then now he's just doing these meaningless matches. Like, what's the purpose of these matches here? Unless they're trying to bring him and his brother together to go for a tag team run, it makes no sense for him to have a feud with the Judgment Day at one point, then had a feud with fucking Chad Gable and his guys, and then now he has a feud with New Day. What the fuck is the purpose? Theoretically, Penta should get beat every week because he's by himself. Like, yeah, he's pulling up and he's winning matches, but what is the purpose of Penta and all these fucking storylines with no outcome? He just moves from one to the next. Like, what is the point? I love Penta as a wrestler. I love his ring gear. I've said it multiple times. But what is the point of these fucking matches if you're not doing anything with Penta? He's not winning the IC. He's not winning the United States Championship. What are y'all doing? You're not pushing him for a world title because you have Seth, you have Roman, you have Cody, you have all these guys, Jay, Punk, all these guys already in there. You're not going to add them up there. So the best fit for Penta would be another tag team run with his brother, or let him win the IC title from Dom. Like, what is the purpose of that shit, But that's just me. That's my little rant there. So, and then you did have Stephanie talk to Adam Pierce in the back, pretty much telling Stephanie, like, hey, you won your title shot fair and square. You are going to wrestle in Paris, but it won't be against Naomi. But I do have someone for you to wrestle. And I know who it is, and kind of left it at that. Like, what the hell was the point of that shit? Why would you even bring that up if you're not even going to announce who she's wrestling now? Yeah, there's anticipation because everybody wanted Stephanie Vaquer to win, which I don't think she was gonna win against Naomi. It was too early for Naomi to lose, especially her gimmick that she had going. Um, but now it's like whoever they put there, she should win. There's no reason for her not to win, honestly. But we'll see. Maybe they'll do what they did with Cody. Cody lost the big one and then came back a year later and won it, which is gonna kind of suck for her, but she'll come back and win it. So we'll see how that plays out, guys. Um, you did have again a few matches, like I mentioned. Before Rhea had a match with Roxanne, you had Io come up to her and was like, hey, I appreciate our friendship, but I want to let you know that the Kabuki Warriors are my best friends. And for the time being, I want you and I to be friends, but I'm going to worry about them for now. I don't want them to be upset with me. And she was like, hey, I totally understand. I got you. But in the back, you had the Kabuki Warriors kind of like staring at her, and Asuka looks pissed. She's out of the two, she's the one that's getting pissed the most, so she's pissed. Um, and you kind of saw like Kairi Sane kind of like sit in the back by herself after Asuka stormed off. I personally thought that the Kabuki Warriors were going to show up during this match and cause Rhea the match, but they didn't. Rhea had a good match against Roxanne Perez. And honestly, they're showing Roxanne so much, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins a singles title really soon. I would say by the end of the year, she should at least be the Intercontinental Champion. That's my opinion. But like I mentioned before, Roxanne Perez will be there for years to come. I would say the next 5 years, she's going to be in the title picture some way, somehow. But decent match between the two. We all knew Rhea Ripley was going to beat her. Raquel tried to get in and cost her the match again. Judgment Day getting into it. Wow, you know. Only difference is, Judgment Day loses. What's it called? Roxanne actually did pretty well against her. She targeted her leg, most of the match. But Rhea's so strong, threw her around, ragdolled her. Roxanne could fucking sell her ass off. So that's a plus. Like, she's willing to take licks. She's willing to take bumps. She's willing to do what they need them to do to make them grow. So I can definitely see her being there for a long time. Well, again, Rhea wins this out. They attack her. Again, I thought the Kabuki Warriors were going to show up, but no. Io Sky, her new best friend, shows up. She takes out the two girls. They hug it out just like the week before. The only difference is Io Sky repaid the favor, helping Rhea this time from last week. Becky's music hits later on, and personally, I am not liking her new music. I feel like her new music is really, really low. Like when she comes out, it's almost silent. Like, yeah, the other one was super loud, super like energetic, and this one she's supposed to be a heel, but it's just very really low. The week before it was lower than this week, so you can actually hear the words this time, but the music is just so low. I'm not sure what they're going with it, but I'm not a fan of her new music. But Becky comes out, starts talking shit, and then boom, gets interrupted by Nikki Bella. They go at it for back and forth. Um, you know, I'm not excited for this. She did mention like, "Hey, you wanted to be your only reason why you're here, Becky, is because I, trailblazed for women's wrestling." And she was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I didn't want to replace." She goes, "I didn't want to be you." She goes, "I wanted to replace you, and that's what I did." And they go into it. They're gonna have a match at Clash of Paris. Don't really care for this match. Becky's been doing well with different opponents she's been having for the IC championship, but again, I'm not a fan of what they're doing. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not a fan of what they're doing. Um, but we'll see who wins. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have what's it called? Becky win it out, whether it's Lyra or Bailey who causes Nikki Bella the match. But I still see Becky walking out the champion this week or that weekend of Clash of Paris. You keep having this segment with Bailey going back and forth with the blue and purple screen, almost talking to her old self like she had her own TV show. You were a champion. You were a doubles champion. You can't do this without me anymore. Just let me out. Almost like a Bray Wyatt kind of deal. So I don't know if that's where they're going with it. But with Naomi technically being out, maybe Bailey steps in and faces Stephanie Vaquer. That could be a decent match as well. So we'll see. The last match of the night is Braun Breaker and LA Knight. So you did have CM Punk also talk like, "Hey, I don't give a shit about LA Knight. It is what it is. They don't want to listen. We'll make it to Paris, I'll make it to Paris with or without them, pretty much." So that went on. You did have Roman talk to Jay Uso. So wearing my shirt, baby. And tell him like, "Hey, I'm proud of you." Like earlier, "I'm proud of you." And pretty much told him again, "Hey, man, I'm proud of you. Um, but you need to understand, you gotta stop being nice to everybody. You gotta start going only thinking about yourself." And then Jay's demeanor kind of changed. Like, "I got you, Uso. I got you." And then again, Braun versus LA Knight. Before that match started, Roman attacks Braun. He attacks Reed. And then LA Knight jumps in. He attacks Braun. They fight outside. Roman gets ejected from the building. Bronson Reed, I don't think I saw him after that, if I'm not mistaken. But he's out or knocked out or some shit. LA Knight and Braun go to the ring. They finally ring the bell after like 10 minutes or so. They're in there wrestling back and forth. Decent match, honestly. Braun Breaker gonna be there forever. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a champion, multi-champion by the time year 10 on Raw or SmackDown rolls around. And I mean world or undisputed champion. So let me just get that straight. I know he's already been IC champion twice, but I definitely see him being a world title holder very, very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns on Seth in the future, but that's down the road. He can sell his ass off. LA Knight has the energy from the crowd. They're going back and forth. But like always, before LA Knight could put him away, you have Seth Rollins come to the ring, or actually his music hits. He kind of like distract LA Knight, comes down, they get into it. And everybody and their mom came out. So you had CM Punk come out. You had Jey Uso come out. They helped out. They helped out LA Knight. And everybody was fighting. And then out of nowhere, you got the Seth and his vision on the outside, CM Punk, LA Knight, and then Jey Uso on the inside. And they start brawling with themselves. And then Seth, like, you see, don't even do nothing. They taking care of it themselves for us. That we ain't even gotta do nothing. So you had the good guys fighting amongst themselves. And Jay just super kicks Punk. He super kicks LA Knight. And then stands strong over everybody and just looks over at Seth Rollins. As much as I want Jey Uso to win, I don't see him winning personally. Unless Roman helps. It is a 4-way, so there's no disqualifications. But as much as I like Jey Uso, I don't see him winning this match. I see Seth retaining with the help of his guys, of course. Roman may get into it because he's going to be there. I don't see Jey Uso winning, but I do see Jey turning heel. Not sure if he's going to go against Roman when he turns heel. Someone online did say that they think that he might join Seth. I hope he doesn't join Seth. I hope he does. Even if he turns heel, just do your own thing, man. Just be a heel, but do your own thing. Be the right-hand man again. Just don't be a Seth Rollins follower. Do your own thing. But other than that, guys, decent Raw. Again, 3 p.m. start time, so I didn't catch it till after work. I was watching it like around 6 o'clock or so. But decent showing. It was kind of nice just to come, press play, and then pause and skip as I wanted to. So that was kind of nice. But decent match. Some of these matches could have been throwaways. Didn't have to see them. Even when they're talking about Rusev and Sheamus at Clash of Paris. Okay. This is like the 5th time now. Don't care for your storyline. Like, come up with better stories, guys. And again, people are going to be like, oh, but why don't you write something? Okay. But I wouldn't be writing the same shit for every fucking match ending the same. Like, that's crazy to me. But in all, guys, this is my Raw recap. Thanks for watching.